Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show.
What? Electromagnetic sniper rifle? Impossible. It's outrageous. This technology Eagle Sauce doesn't even have it. Electromagnetic guns are being developed all over the world. Let's directly miniaturize them and create electromagnetic sniper rifles. Fake. The shape is very fake. The shape is too sci-fi, and we didn't even understand the electromagnetic gun, so why did we build the electromagnetic sniper rifle first? Yeah, I don't know, Miss Lee. Why hasn't the research on electromagnetic guns been released for so many years? And I haven't heard that electromagnetic guns are being researched, but instead, this is a military parade, a real display of new equipment. It will be there when it is released. Do you understand? This is a cross-age technology. Didn't you say that our guns are all imitations? Let's talk about whose these two guns are imitations. The only one in the world, Yanwang country's cattle batch. Look at you guys who are so trendy. Don't you just have two guns? Those who don't know think that they've changed the world and built a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. That is, it's just two guns. Other individual soldiers have the same equipment, and other people's aircraft and aircraft carriers are more advanced. What can individual soldiers do? The two new guns made all the netizens who watched the live broadcast excited and shocked. It is a completely independent research and development gun, and it is still leading the world. The host said excitedly, "This gun will greatly improve the combat capabilities of our snipers. It has a range of more than 4,000 meters and can penetrate 10 centimeters thick homogeneous steel plates. It can hit wherever it is aimed. It is a real magic gun. I'm numb. 4,000 meters, more than twice as far as Barrett. Barrett is an anti-equipment sniper. Is this data true? Are you sure it's 10 centimeters thick and not 10 millimeters? Don't doubt the quality of the host of the national team. If it is 10 centimeters, it must be 10 centimeters. F***K, I can penetrate a steel plate as long as my brother, a real steel plate for daily wear. Brother, your brother is a bit short." The attention paid to the Yanwang National Day military parade is not limited to domestic ones. It can be said that every military parade will attract the attention of the world. The two new rifles of Yanwang Kingdom have caused quite a stir in the world. The military parade is still going on, and the weapons in each phalanx are very eye-catching, and they will soon reach the armored troops. Rows of 99A main battle tanks passed by the gate of Yan'an City like ordinary beasts. In the black hole of the muzzle, there is truth. Look, here is the armored vehicle I participated in the research and development of. Yi Tao suddenly pointed to the armored vehicle behind the 99A and said excitedly, "It is definitely an honor to see the equipment I participated in the research and development of in the military parade." The uncle and aunt are also full of joy. Finally, there is something better than Yi Bai. The eldest aunt clapped her hands and laughed. "Oh, look at how good this armored vehicle is. It looks high-end." Indeed, let's see if the host introduces it. Uncle knows that the host specially introduces the data, which means new equipment. If it is just a name, it is not new equipment. This is our latest VN-22, V-wheeled armored vehicle. It is a major improvement of the VN-22 armored vehicle, and its parameters far exceed other armored vehicles of the same type. Hearing the host's introduction, the uncle's family was even happier. Look, it's far superior to armored vehicles of the same type. Xiao Dao is amazing. Although the job rewards are not as high as Xiao Bai's, the equipment he developed finally appeared at the military parade, and he even introduced it. The aunt said proudly. The Yi Bai family nodded with a smile. They all know that the eldest aunt has a strong personality, but Yi Tao did a good job. Yi Ji nodded and said, "Xiao Tao is a good boy. As long as he can contribute to the country, he is a good boy." Yi Tao is also very happy. Although Yi Bai has a higher position than him and may have developed high-tech inventions, the equipment he participated in the research and development was at least on the National Day military parade. Showed his face in front of the people of the whole country and even the whole world. Yi Bai did see a few familiar faces in the camera. On the gate of Yan'an City, Lu Shogua, Yiming, Ying Jiang, and others were all accompanying the Supreme Chief. They all looked at the parade square with joy on their faces. It's just an improved model. Hey, it's not brand new. Yeah, it's completely incomparable with the two guns in front. Like Master Lu, it took another year of sewing and mending, and the magic changes came and went, which shows that our research and development levels still can't keep up. You think developing new equipment is as easy as bragging? How many brothers have the ability to develop one? If we can research and develop, why do we need those researchers? Cut. Look at the black smoke coming from the engines of tanks and armored vehicles. It's really rubbish. Brother, which country's diesel engine doesn't smoke? The eldest aunt became angry when she saw the barrage. Who are these people? Can they develop it? Just say that my shout-out can't develop it. The uncle shook his head and sighed. These people exist in every era. There is no way. After the armored phalanx passed, it was the rocket army phalanx. Those truths are Yan Huang's whole cards, and they are sharp weapons to intimidate Xiao Xiao around. Then came the plane. From helicopters to fighter jets, all are the latest models. Helicopters formed a celebratory phalanx to pass the field. Then there is JJ-10C, JJ-11, and so on. When the Veyron 20 finale appeared, the crowd watching the military parade burst into cheers. This is the latest scientific and technological achievement of Yan Wang, and it is one of the only 4 fifth-generation machines in the world. This is also the first time that the Veyron 20 has appeared in the military parade, which means that it is officially installed and put into full production. 6 Veyron 20s flew across the sky, performed a few stunts, and showed off their powerful maneuverability. Everyone saw the Veyron 20 flying over our heads. It is the pride of our Yan Wang, and it is our sharp weapon in the sky. The cheers were even louder. Ying Jiang had F-22 decades ago. We just installed it. The gap is too big. That's right, and the engine is still not working, so it's not a complete body yet. The engines are all counterfeit, even if they are replaced with the latest ones. Not to mention the latest engine XA100 of Ying Jiang and the F135 on Fadian 35. Even the engine F119 on the F22 decades ago is better than our current one. And no one else has canards, but we have them. In the final analysis, the heart is not good enough and the thrust is not enough. Yeah, let's barely count it as a 5th-generation aircraft. The gap is too big. Fighter planes and aircraft carriers are our weakest parts, and they're at least 50 years behind. It seems that only those two are amazing this year, and there is no other new equipment. It's over, it's over, it's over. If the Veyron 20 is the sword of our sky, then the next fighter jet will be the king of the sky in the world. F***K, what else? What's the meaning? Isn't Veyron 20 the finale? Did the host drink too much? What did she say about the king, the glory of the king? Return the king of the sky, the dragon. I'm so dazed. Why is the official still tantalizing? What the hell? I guess it's just pretending to be aggressive. It can't be the 6th-generation machine coming out. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Ying Jiang didn't make it. How could we do it? The engine is not as powerful as others. How to do it? Isn't it? Everyone is in the research stage of the 6th-generation aircraft, and it is impossible to come out. The fighter still depends on Ying Jiang. It's not the 6th-generation machine. It can't be the 6th master. Haha, I didn't see the 6th master just now. Could it be that the 6th master has changed again? Don't mention the bomber. Other people's stealth bomber has been around for how many years? We are still the 6th master. The 6th master, we are sick of seeing it. Yi Tao was also very puzzled, although he disagreed with the barrage, because the development speed of the 6th-generation aircraft was not slow in Yan Wang Kingdom. In terms of high-tech, Yan Wang and even many of them are leading. But the 6th-generation machine has not yet been researched. The Veyron 20 is the strongest known fighter in the Yan Wang Kingdom, and the front is full of the latest models of fighters. Is there any other improved model in the future? Then there is no need to play the finale behind the Veyron 20. What is certain is that it will definitely not be an improved version of Lu Yi. In the USS Peanut, an aircraft carrier battle group that was cruising in Lanhai, General Michael was drinking coffee leisurely and watching the military parade of Yanwang Kingdom. What is Yanwang doing? They can't have a better plane than the Veron 20. The adjutant nodded. Indeed, they may have put the latest improved version of the Bombing 6 last. Bombing 6, in a sense, the Yanwang Air Force is indeed the king. Because this is the only big long-range bomber. Michael said disdainfully, if you improve it, it will only be Bombing 6, the backward gadget of the former Su Xiong. The adjutant frowned slightly. Actually, Yanwang Kingdom's magic reform these years has really made the Bombing 6 reform not so backward. Yanwang Kingdom's magic reform is really too magical. The adjutant was a little dumbfounded at the end. Whether it was the 5 pairs of rounds or the Bombing 6, they were all changed beyond recognition by the demons of Yanwang Kingdom, exceeding their respective limits. Michael shook his head. After all, the level is not enough. But their latest 2 rifles, I don't know if they are true or not. If they are true, they will be too powerful. The adjutant was concerned about the 2 guns. Although the introduction was simple, they all knew that the 2 guns were very important. Moreover, more than 100 people are equipped, so it is true if there is no accident. As for the planes, he wasn't worried because there couldn't be new ones. Michael nodded and said, if our army can be equipped, it will definitely be able to plunder, help more countries and maintain world peace. The adjutant randomly frowned, but how did they develop it? Bullet tracking is too unscientific. Although I can understand the electromagnetic sniper rifle, it is not a problem that technology can solve at all. Michael said indifferently, these 2 guns are indeed strong, but they are not enough to change the world pattern, so don't worry too much. Compared to Michael's arrogance, the adjutant was more worried. Although these 2 guns are not enough to change the world pattern, they can change the rules of the game on the land battlefield in the future. Michael is a traditional white eagle sauce with an inexplicable sense of superiority and arrogance. There's nothing to see. I'll go for a walk. Compared with the military parade, I care more about the crater. Will there be any good things in it? Michael walked out of the cabin with a cup of coffee. His aircraft carrier battle group and Neon's fleet were still exploring the place where the energy fluctuations were emitted that day. But so far nothing. Could it be that the meteorite fell and just finished burning? Michael looked at the darker sea in a daze, and the adjutant continued to watch the military parade in the cabin. It is the latest research and development achievement of Yanwang Kingdom, the latest fighter, the Longlan anti-gravity fighter. After the host's introduction, a plane with a very sci-fi shape flew slowly from a distance. After flying to the predetermined location, suddenly accelerate. In just a few seconds, they broke through the sound barrier continuously and disappeared from everyone's sight in the blink of an eye. The adjutant couldn't help being surprised. Wang Di fake. What kind of acceleration is this? He looked at the plane flying away in an instant with disbelief. It never broke the speed of sound, and it only took a few seconds to reach supersonic speed. And the final speed, I am afraid it is not just supersonic speed. Fake, anti-gravity fighter? Is Yanwang Kingdom joking? This is definitely not something that can be produced by Earth technology now. The adjutant yelled in the cabin in disbelief, attracting Michael back, who had just left. Jones, what the hell are you screaming? Michael had a displeased expression on his face. What equipment does Yanwang have that deserves to be exclaimed? Except for the 2 guns, we have already exclaimed. Jones yelled, General, come quickly. Yanwang Kingdom introduced an anti-gravity fighter just now. What did you say? Do you know what you're talking about? Anti-gravity, is that possible? Michael almost choked on the coffee, hurried back to the cabin, stared at Jones and yelled. Jones pointed at the screen. Look, General. Michael quickly looked at the screen. I saw a fighter jet that he had never seen before, flying through the sky, and then showed a wave of acceleration. Wang Defa, what the hell is that? Why is there no engine sound at all? Is the radio equipment on site in Yanwang Kingdom broken? Michael put away an E and stared nervously at the screen. What did he see? What kind of engine is that under the wing? Why is there no engine noise in the plane? Why does it accelerate so fast? What kind of engine is this? It's so abnormal. I feel like the final tail speed has reached hypersonic speed. Michael and Jones looked at each other. They had never seen such a powerful fighter. Could it be a projection? What did we find on the back of the moon? And we actually built an anti-gravity fighter. It's so handsome. Look at that wing. It's double-layered. And it's just like a butterfly's wing. It's so beautiful. Have you noticed? There are 2 hexagrams under the wing. I feel that it may be an anti-gravity engine, but it also has 2 propulsion engines at the rear. 1 aircraft, for engines, so awesome. The observation upstairs is really careful, and you can understand it at a glance. I don't know how the other parameters of this plane are. I look forward to the host's introduction. The acceleration just now was terrifying, how powerful the engine is. It was said earlier that our engine is not working, come out and call. Seeing that none of them dare to speak now, it's so funny. The host continued to introduce, because this fighter is too advanced, it is inconvenient to display the specific parameters, and we will announce it to everyone at the Zhuhai Air Show. F***K, it's too advanced to show, awesome. Unfortunately, I still want to see the specific parameters. However, the Zhuhai Air Show will be next year, it's too long. I think it's fake, it's just a shell with an engine installed, and it can't be displayed at all. I won't talk about anything else. If you find a fighter jet from a country that can have this acceleration, if you find it, I'll give you 100,000. Upstairs boss V50 Hong Kong strength. At this moment, the Ryonjian anti-gravity fighter passed through the field for the last time, and when it flew over the heads of the audience at extremely high speed, it stopped suddenly. The audience was in an uproar. Everyone didn't react. They thought it was speeding up for a cutscene, but unexpectedly came a sudden break. F***K, F***K, I'm so numb. What is this, Mom? I saw God. I knelt, I really knelt, faster than the brakes of a car. How could it be possible to stop suddenly like a hummingbird? Impossible. This can't be AR or a projection. I'm King peeing. The coffee cup in Michael's hand on the Lanhai Peanut Ton aircraft carrier fell to the ground. Wang Defa. Michael pointed to his mouth. Jones, hit me. This must be a dream. Snapped. A crisp sound made everyone in the aircraft carrier's command cabin look over. Michael covered his face, didn't care that Jones was too hard. He didn't dare to say, really? How did the Yanwang Kingdom do it? No, I have to notify the country. Jones shook hands and felt that the hand felt good just now. No need for the general. I think the emergency meeting has already started in China. What Jones said was right, not only Ying Jiang, but also the surrounding countries who paid attention to this military parade were dumbfounded. Lu Shogua and others have seen the scene, and they already know all the parameters of Longyuan, but when they see it again, they will still be shocked by such maneuverability. It's just too weird. Yi Tao looked at the hovering Yong'an anti-gravity fighter, and then at Yi Bai. He didn't know about this plane at all, which meant it was definitely classified, and Yi Bai's award-winning project was also classified, so it was hard for him not to think of the two together. Thinking of this, he admired Yi Bai even more in his heart. This fighter is too strong. He is a researcher and knows what the 3 words anti-gravity stand for. Definitely able to win the Nobel Prize in Physics. Although he guessed that it was developed by Yi Bai, he dared not say that since it is a secret, it must not be leaked. This is the protection of Yi Bai. But since there is such an advanced anti-gravity fighter, is Bayang Military Industry's 6th-generation fighter still necessary? And Lu Cheng, who was in the Bayang military factory, also looked at the Longyuan anti-gravity fighter on TV in shock. Could this be developed by Yi Bai? Otherwise, why the factory where he used to be is now blocked and has become a secret? And people are no longer at the Bayang military factory, and suddenly such an advanced aircraft appeared during the military parade. He looked around at his colleagues who had studied with him for several years. Is this 6th-generation machine still necessary? He shook his head. Years of hard work, not as good as other people's 2 months of work. In the end, Yan Jian accelerated again and did not use Mach 10 before, because he was afraid that the audience would not be able to see it if it was too fast. Just barely accelerating to the hypersonic limit. Now that the performance is over, Ying Jiang starts his full speed, reaches 10 times the speed of sound in 5 seconds, and disappears from people's sight in an instant. F***K, this speed is definitely not ordinary supersonic cruise. There is definitely hypersonic speed. How fast is hypersonic speed? Hypersonic refers to a speed above Mach 5, which is 5 times the speed of sound. Currently the fastest aircraft in the world, Eagle Sasa's Blackbird reconnaissance aircraft, is only Mach 3.3, and only missiles can achieve hypersonic speed. And only Yanwang, Maoxiang, and Ying Jiang, 3 kingdoms, have such missile technology. F***K, that means it's nearly twice as fast as Eagle Sauce. My mother asked me why I knelt down suddenly, and I said I saw aliens. I said why those shepherd dogs who barked happily just now were silent. I'm still here, isn't it just a plane? What else is there besides maneuvering? Do you know the stealth performance? Mounting capacity, radar fire control, etc. I dare not say a fart publicly. This speed is enough, it is faster than Ying Jiang, and it is more comfortable. The parade is over here. Everyone has not recovered from the shock brought by the Yong'an anti-gravity fighter. I didn't expect Wang Jia to come in the end. Yi Bai's family watched the military parade and chatted together. Yes, hey, Xiao Dao, do you know that plane? The uncle looked at his son. Yi Tao shook his head. I don't know, it should be a secret. Yi Ji asked, could it be the 6th generation machine? I heard that they are all researching the 6th generation machine, and we also have it. Yi Tao replied, although I don't know the information about that plane, it's definitely not the 6th generation plane, because it is much more advanced than the 6th generation plane. The uncle said in surprise, it is more advanced than the 6th generation aircraft, and it is amazing for my country. Auntie and Song Jia couldn't understand this, so they went to cook. Yi Bai talked to everyone and returned to his room. He roughly recorded what was mentioned in the barrage on the military parade, what Yanwang Kingdom still lacks. The first is the aircraft carrier. Ying Jiang has 10 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, but we only have 3, and none of them are nuclear-powered. Then there is the individual equipment. Ying Jiang's individual equipment is indeed more comprehensive and higher tech. Then there is the aircraft engine, but Ying Jiang has already surpassed the world, so there is no need to unlock it. Then unlock the aircraft carrier and individual armor first. Yi Bai made up his mind. The aircraft carrier directly chose the space carrier in the reunion. For individual armor, the Master Chief armor is used, but the system needs to be enhanced and improved. After selecting the target, Yi Bai directly turns on the system, ready to unlock. Yi Bai turned on the computer and played Avengers 2: Age of Ultron. The segment pauses next to the small town being taken into the sky when the aerospace carrier appears. Is it locked? Yes! The lock is successful and the system is analyzing. Ding! The analysis is successful. The aerospace carrier, an advanced air combat unit, can carry a large number of fighter jets and has stealth and other modes, which can be unlocked. Unlock. Ding! Unlocked successfully, consuming 1 level 2 technology point. According to the host's existing technology, the aerospace carrier has been enhanced into an anti-gravity carrier, and all the technology data has been loaded. In an instant, a large amount of information poured into Yi Bai's mind. The difficulty of building an aerospace carrier can no longer be solved by one person in a short period of time. More superlarge construction machinery is needed to assist, and it is best to have someone assist. Yi Bai can complete the core technology part, but other large components such as structure and hull need to be completed by others. Yi Bai opened Halo Endless game again, locking on the Master Chief armor. Is it locked? Yes! The lock is successful, and the system is analyzing. Ding! The analysis is successful. The 3rd generation Thor's Hammer MK50 type armor, advanced single combat armor, can be unlocked. Unlock. Ding! Unlocked successfully, consuming 1.5 first level technology points. All data of the third-generation Thor's Hammer Mark 7 armor has been loaded. System, can it upgrade technology independently? Yi Bai asked in his heart. Consume a certain amount of technology points, and the host can customize and upgrade the unlocked technology. Yi Bai was overjoyed when he heard this. Nice! It just happened that he wanted to modify the Master Chief armor according to his needs. So according to the idea in mind, the parameters of the Master Chief armor were modified and upgraded. Consume 0.5 technology points to transform and upgrade the third-generation Quake Mark 7 armor. The name is too long, just call it Dark Dragon armor. Yi Bai improved the Master Chief armor, and he prefers black in color. After the technology is unlocked, Yi Bai still has 3 first-level technology points and 1 second-level technology point left. There are still a few days left in the holidays. In addition to receiving visitors, Yi Bai is taking out the components of the helicarrier that need to be built by others and making detailed information. Seeing that the holiday was coming to an end, Yi Bai completed the input of component materials and separate technical data. Today he stretched comfortably, opened the web page, and read the news. Unexpectedly, the first one is that Ying Jiang declares the right of free navigation in Lanhai. This is the latest equipment that appeared at the military parade in Bright Muscle against the Yanwang Kingdom a few days ago, showing it by force and consolidating its dominance. Naturally, many people would kneel and lick in the comment area. Yi Bai curled his lips and smiled. He understood the crooked Dragon King's mood. It's like watching a clown. Mom and Dad, I have to go back to Dragon Academy. Yi Bai packed up his things, the short National Day holiday was over, and he felt that he had gained a few pounds. Song Jia was a little bit reluctant. It's so fast. Pay attention to safety on the road. You must remember to eat breakfast. Yi Ji smiled gratifiedly. Invent well. I don't have much knowledge. I can only live a good life. If you have the ability, you should make more inventions for the country. Let those foreigners see. We are still the Dragon of the East. Yi Bai smiled and nodded. He didn't expect his father to be so passionate and patriotic. However, this is the feeling that all descendants of Yanwang have. Understood. I will eat on time, and I will work hard to invent. After speaking, Yi Bai took his things and went out. Song Jia was still a little bit reluctant. She stood at the door and said, "The weather is getting colder. Please keep warm, come back, and have a look if you have nothing to do." Yi Bai waved his hand. Got it, let's go." Yi Ji pulled Song Jia. "My son went to make an invention. It's a big deal. What's the answer?" Suddenly, Yi Ji seemed to have thought of something, chased him out and shouted, "Next time, if you are alone, don't come back, you boy. Just make inventions at the Dragon Science Academy." Yi Bai shrank his head and ran away with his luggage. He first went back to Dragon Academy of Sciences, took out a hard drive and handed it to Zhou Ping. "This is a controllable nuclear fusion energy device. I think you will need it, academician Zhou." Controllable nuclear fusion device. Zhou Ping and the others took the hard drive with trembling hands. Controllable nuclear fusion can solve the Earth's energy problem. It can solve the problem of energy pollution and even allow mankind to start the era of space navigation. This is a technology that benefits mankind. This was originally the technology of Long Giant's anti-gravity fighter gun, and it was the energy source of Long On. But at that time Yi Bai was modified with Veron 20, so this device was not used. In other words, the current Ryan Giant anti-gravity fighter is actually not a complete body. I didn't expect you to give us such a big surprise just after your vacation. Zhou Ping looked at the hard drive happily. It was so important. This is not only military technology, but can also be used in people's livelihood. This is on the Longyuan anti-gravity fighter. Although it is a small nuclear fusion energy device, the theory is there, and it can completely help break through the current bottleneck of controllable nuclear fusion. For Zhou Ping and others, Yi Bai did not keep it secret, because as an academician of the Dragon Academy of Sciences, he must know about the Longyuan project. Zhou Ping quickly connected the hard drive to the computer, and Qinwei said from the side, "We also just found out that Longyuan was created by your idea." It is no problem to break through the bottleneck. In fact, the miniaturization of nuclear fusion devices is the most difficult. Making a large, controllable nuclear fusion power plant is simpler. Wei Chen nodded and said, and it's easier to apply it to an aircraft carrier. It's already a miniaturized energy device. Zhou Ping looked at the information in the computer, his eyes lit up. It's wonderful. Qin and Wei also looked over immediately. Yi Bai said with a smile, I have an idea for an aircraft carrier. This time I go to the Zijin military region, and I'm going to implement this idea. Zhou Ping and the others suddenly looked back at Yi Bai as if they were looking at a monster. You have another idea? Only you dare to think like this. Only you have the ability to realize this idea. After Zhou Ping learned about Yi Bai's thoughts, he was amazed. Qin Wei and Wei Chen nodded in agreement. Spaceship. That's technology that exists in science fiction movies. Some scientists have also proposed such an idea. But that's just imagination. As the name suggests, an aerospace carrier is an aircraft carrier flying in the sky. If it is paired with Yong'an anti-gravity fighter, you can hit any coordinate anywhere on the Earth. This technology does not mean that you can fly by adding a few large fans to the aircraft carrier. Not to mention whether there is such a big fan, it is the strong air current in the sky, cold air, oxygen, and so on. Need all kinds of black technology to solve. We will study the controllable nuclear fusion information you gave as soon as possible, and we can help you a little bit then. Qin Wei looked at Yi Bai seriously. With detailed technical information, it will be much faster for them to reverse engineer, and the information given by Yi Bai is too detailed, it is simply a nanny-level strategy. On the same day, Yi Bai and Zhou Ping studied controllable nuclear fusion at Dragon Science Institute. The next day, he rushed to the Zijin military region. Lu Shogua and Yang Yiming greeted Yi Bai together. It's time to call academician Yi. Lu Shogua said with a smile. Yi Bai said helplessly, Sir, don't make fun of me, just call me Xiaoya. Haha. Lu Shogua laughed heartily, and then the three of them said as they walked, You invented something amazing in Beiyang military industry. What do you think about this time in our Zijin military region? Lu Shogua said casually, after all, making inventions is not just a matter of hitting your head. Moreover, Yi Bai's current achievements are already beyond the reach of most people in their lifetime. Unexpectedly, Yi Bai nodded very seriously and said, I thought about it on the way here. This time I came here to build a special research team and develop it in the shipyard. Lu Shogua was pleasantly surprised. You want to build a battleship? A large part of why Eagle Sauce is so arrogant is that they have 10 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. If Yi Bai studies warships, with his ability, it will definitely be a top-level warship. Yes, to be precise, it is an aerospace carrier. Yi Bai told him directly. What? Helicarrier. Lu Shogua was stunned. 22, he thought that Yi Bai would be very advanced in research. But I didn't expect that a king bomb came directly, a sci-fi battleship. He looked at the sky, dumbfounded, and said, I feel that if you continue to develop, you will soon break the sky. After all, after experiencing Yi Bai's outrageous behavior several times, he already has some resistance. Although it is still shocking, it will not lose its composure like it was at the beginning. Yang Yiming opened his mouth wide and looked at Yi Bai in disbelief. He wasn't sure if Lu Shogua and Yi Bai were joking. He didn't know that the Ryonjine anti-gravity fighter was developed by Yi Bai. He only knew that Yi Bai made 2 high-tech guns, but the space carrier is much more difficult than the gun. That's really just human imagination. They must be joking, must be. Yi Bai hee smiled. I'll immediately set up a research team for you and contact the shipyard. Just as Lu Shogua was about to take out his phone, he suddenly changed his mind. Well, I'll send you directly to the Jiangnan shipyard in Haisher, where we will set up a research and development team. Yi Bai nodded and said, Okay, the project personnel only need about 20 people, and engineers may need a little more. Don't say 20 people, even if you want 200 people, I'll give you all. As for the engineers, don't worry, I'll give you all the engineers in the entire military region. After Lu Shogua finished speaking, he said to Yang Yiming, go with you and help Xiaoya. Yang Yiming nodded blankly. It's not a joke. Come on, really? Really want to build a space carrier? Lu Shogwa keenly observed Yang Yiming's suspicious appearance, smiled, and said, You will know when the time comes. Xiaoya is a person who is good at creating miracles. He has accepted Yi Bai's unconstrained ideas. As long as it can be realized, as long as it contributes to the country, that's fine. Yi Bai was a little flattered and quickly said, It's just a dare to think. Lu Shogwa smiled and said, Just dare to think. Lao Yang, you go and bring your main team. As long as the core members, I will take Xiaoya to the shipyard first. You hurry up and follow. Yang Yiming nodded and said, Okay, I'll go now. Lu Shogwa contacted the special plane and took Yi Bai to Jiangnan shipyard. On the plane, Lu Shogwa suddenly asked curiously, Where did you get the inspiration for the Longyuan anti-gravity fighter? Yi Bai replied honestly, I have seen some sci-fi movies before, and I drew pictures based on my imagination, and then I made them. Although he was mentally prepared, Lu Shogwa was still stunned. Drawn from imagination? That's an anti-gravity fighter. Not a stack of paper airplanes. Lu Shogwa wiped his face, took a deep breath, and asked again, What about the space carrier this time? According to the game or imagination, why do you want to build it? Yi Bai shook his head and said with a smile, Neither. It was built according to the movie. I watched the military parade at home a few days ago, and the bullet screen said that our aircraft carrier is not good enough, so we should develop an aircraft carrier. While Lu Shogwa was surprised, he also felt a lot of relief. He develops whatever the country needs. What a simple and earthy idea. But it shows his love for the country. It is good. Lu Shogwa said seriously, I will recruit the best research team for you. Use the research and development funds as you like, and I will support you with all the strength of the entire Zijin military region. When the two got off the special plane, Caillou, the director of Jiangnan shipyard, got the news and immediately greeted them. Why is Chief Lu here? What's the matter? Seeing that Lu Shogwa came by special plane, Caillou must have something urgent. He glanced at Yi Bai at the side. He was very strange. He had never seen him before, but he was walking side by side with the chief. Lu Shogwa and Caillou shook hands. This time I'm here to set up a project with you, led by academician Yi from the Academy of Dragon Sciences. Since Yi Bai is going to be the head of the project, if his identity is not revealed, it will be difficult for such a young Yi Bai to convince the public. Project approval? Caillou was a little surprised, because it wasn't particularly strange. But when he heard that Yi Bai was an academician, he was very surprised. There is such a young academician. He had never seen it, let alone heard of it. That must have invented a very powerful high-tech. The Academy of Dragon Sciences is really a place where crouching dragons hide tigers. There are not many academicians in the entire Yanwang Kingdom, and the Academy of Dragon Sciences has 4. No problem. Caillou nodded. Lu Shogwa continued to ask, Is your 300,000-ton shipyard empty? Caillou didn't understand, so he nodded and said, Yes. 300,000-ton shipyards generally build large ships. At present, Yanhuang's largest battleship is the No. 3 aircraft carrier, but it is only more than 80,000 tons, and it does not use a 300,000-ton dock. Lu Shogwa said, Okay, let's use it. Caillou asked in surprise, What kind of warship are we going to build, and we need a dock of 300,000 tons? Lu Shogwa smiled and said, Aerocarrier. Yi Bai nodded and added, The initial estimate weighs 200,000 tons. Caillou looked back and forth between Lu Shogwa and Yi Bai in disbelief. Helicarrier. Of course he knew what it was, an aircraft carrier flying in the sky. But those are all ideas in the movie. With the current level of technology, it is impossible to create them. Unless a miracle happens. But he didn't look like Lu Shogwa was joking, not to mention that a commander of a military region couldn't possibly come to joke with him. He felt that his head was a little hot at this moment. Lu Shogwa said solemnly, I will transfer talents from all over the country. This is the highest level of confidentiality project. Caillou heard that it was the highest level confidential project and knew that the project was really not easy. He nodded quickly. Okay, I got it. I will quickly screen the personnel in the factory and sign a non-disclosure agreement. No problem. Lu Shogwa ordered. You first take Academician Yi to familiarize yourself with the environment, then draw out the research and development base area, and then go to screen personnel. Yes! Caillou took Yi-Bai to familiarize himself with the site and then took people to clear the 300,000-ton dock and factory buildings, planning the R&D and construction site. Finally, everyone in the factory was called together for a screening. All that remained signed the highest level of non-disclosure agreement. Lu Shogwa returned to his special plane and directly contacted the heads of other military regions to start an online meeting. After a while, everyone went online one after another. Lu Shogwa briefly explained Yi-Bai's thoughts. What? You mean Yi-Bai is going to build an aerospace carrier? Yiming's unbelievable voice came from the speaker. The other 3 military chiefs were also shocked. Not long after the R&D and construction of the Ryonjine anti-gravity fighter was completed, it was time to build such a big thing as the space carrier. And it's an aerial carrier. They just heard about it. Yi-Bai actually wants to make it. Xiaoye is getting bigger and bigger. Gravity can no longer hold him, so is he going to space in the future? I feel like it won't be long before he's really going to go into space. If other people talk about building a space carrier, I will definitely ignore him, but Xiaoye is different. Although it is still unbelievable, and the difficulty is greater than that of Ryonjian's anti-gravity fighter, he has already created too many miracles. That's right. Lu Shogwa continued. So I want to establish a research and development team with the highest level of secrecy and recruit the best talents in various fields from your military region. Yiming frowned. No problem. This project is completely comparable to the original Miss Chiao project. I have no objection. I will send the best talents from the Bayang military factory there as soon as possible. Bai Yan went on to say, I also agree. Let Xiaoye do a big job. If it is done, then we will really lead the world, and we don't have to swallow our anger anymore. Jin Jianjun raised his hand in agreement. I also agree. I am very glad that Yan Wang can have such talents. It is really a blessing for the country. The generals agreed with his words. They believe that Yi-Bai can change the current situation of Yan Wang. Although Yan Wang also has 3 aircraft carriers, there is still a big gap compared with Ying Jiang. Because Yan Wang develops too fast, it has received more and more sanctions and blockades. There are also various provocations and overt and covert attacks. After all, fists are not hard enough. Ying Jiang claims to be the world's policeman and provokes wars everywhere, all relying on his world's #1 military power. Even if Yan Wang wants to rise peacefully, it needs a strong background. Now, Yi-Bai is making it all happen. Lu Shogwa said in a deep voice, this project is the most important weapon of the country. The Zijin military region is responsible for the confidentiality of the research and development base. Each military region will select 5 of the best talents, each person's background, and the confidentiality agreement will be entrusted to you. Do not worry. At the same time, all 5 major military regions are in action. Talents in various fields were secretly summoned, deployed, and signed the highest level of confidentiality agreements. They can't reveal their whereabouts with their family and friends. It is also not allowed to ask about the content of the project. You can only know it when you get to the place. All the talents who have been transferred are very excited. It must be a top-secret mission to have such a confidentiality level. The project must be very important. It must be cutting-edge technology. And there will definitely be seniors to guide you, and you can learn a lot. I saw that the people who were transferred were all top talents. Everyone else in the military area was curious about what kind of project it was that needed to pick out the best talents. 2 days later, the selection of talents in each military region is completed. All flew to Jiangnan shipyard by plane. When they arrived, they realized that this project was far beyond their imagination. It actually brought together all the talents from the 5 major military regions. Although they guessed that the project was huge, they didn't expect it to be so big that the 5 major military regions would unite. And there are still a large number of troops stationed in the Jiangnan shipyard before they came. When they got off the plane and went to the project base, there were 3 steps, 1 post, and 1 gate every 10 meters. The level of secrecy is outrageous. They have never seen such a battle. When they saw around the 300,000-ton dock, it was completely emptied. The Zijin military region even dispatched electronic warfare troops. Keep those eyes from the sky from seeing this. The Yanlong Special Forces also dispatched 5 teams to patrol around the shipyard to catch suspicious persons. There are also a large number of officers and soldiers building barriers to prevent 803 from shooting and peeping at a distance. They just know. This must be an unprecedented project. Everyone was first taken to a large factory building, which was emptied. Only the construction machinery remained. Qianhao, why are you here? I didn't expect you, the strongest ship construction engineer in the Huatai military region, to come. Wang Chen. Hey, don't talk nonsense. How can you be as powerful as a first-level researcher of a warship in the Changnan military region, such a young first-level researcher? The big guys are all the bosses of military equipment units in various military regions, and Yuan Ran is all together. TSK, what kind of project is this? The defense on the way here is called tight. No, they are all armed with live ammunition. This is still inside the shipyard. The layout outside may be even more unimaginable. The last time this kind of project was done, I'm afraid it was decades ago, when the whole country was working together to build a powerful weapon for the country. Huh? Aren't you from the Army Aviation Research Institute of the Chuanqing military region? Why did you come to the shipyard? Hey, look at that guy. He seems to be Chief Engineer Liu of the Beiyang military factory. Isn't he researching 6th-generation aircraft? He's a leader in our country's aircraft field. That's right. I heard about the 6th-generation aircraft project. Because Long Yuan's anti-gravity fighter is too powerful, I didn't expect him to come here. What kind of project is this? Why are shipbuilders and aviation people here? It's strange. Everyone looked around at the future colleagues, and there were many familiar faces, all of whom were well known in their respective fields. But they came to the shipyard, probably to build warships. Why are there people who build airplanes? Just now I thought it was going to develop a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, but when I saw Mr. Liu and the others, I felt that it was not easy. Me too. Ship and aviation, I can't figure it out. One is in the sky, the other is in the sea. The difference is hundreds of thousands of miles. Just when everyone was wondering, Kai Yu and Yi Bai came to the workshop. Everyone looked over immediately. Kai Yu briefly introduced, I am the director of Jiangnan Shipyard. You should know me. I believe everyone is curious about why I brought you here. This time it's a top-secret mission. It's very important to distribute the most important weapons of 10 countries. Everyone was in an uproar. There are not many people who can be called the most important weapon of the country. Those are technologies that can serve as the cornerstone of a nation. Canton country. No wonder so many talents are gathered together, and the degree of secrecy is so high. The country's most important weapon. As long as they really research it, they are all heroes. Caillou continued, this is Yi Bai, an academician of the Dragon Academy of Sciences. He is the leader of this top-secret project. I hope everyone will fully cooperate with him and let us study and complete this project be together. Lu Cheng took a deep look at Yi Bai. If he guessed correctly, the Yong'an anti-gravity fighter was developed by Yi Bai. That's top secret too. As a result, his 6th-generation aircraft project has been suspended, and Jian is working on researching the Yongyuan anti-gravity fighter with all his strength. Unexpectedly, he was temporarily transferred here again. I never thought that Yi Bai would develop a national weapon. This young man is horrible. Academician? How is it possible? There was a burst of discussion among the crowd. Young first-level researchers are already rare. That represents the top talents of a military region. They are all rare existences, and the 25 of them are all at this level. They represent the highest scientific research level of the 5 military regions. But Yibai looks like he is only in his 20s, and he is actually an academician. There's a big difference between a first-level researcher and an academician. Let's put it this way, this group of people may be a first-level researcher all their lives, but they cannot become academicians, just like Lu Cheng. If his research on the 6th-generation machine is successful, then he can become an academician. Although it is true that academicians are selected every 2 years, there are very few people who can become academicians. Why have I never heard of such a young academician? What's going on? Academicians must be true, but it is really hard to believe that they should be particularly outstanding in a certain field. Do you think he is the developer of one of the 3 most eye-catching pieces of equipment on the military parade? Probably. Only by obtaining one of those 3 pieces of equipment can one make further progress in the position of a first-level researcher. Caillou stretched out his hand to press down, and everyone fell silent. Since coming here, it means that you have all signed the non-disclosure agreement, so let me reveal that the 2 guns, YBD-01 and YBZ-10, were both developed by academician Yi. LEAD. Everyone gasped. The 2 guns were developed by the same person, and they are still so young. His accomplishments in gun-making are indeed too strong. Everyone has no doubts about Yibai's identity. It's a real high-tech. It's all on the military parade. And they also found the model of the 2 guns, named after Yibai's initials. This also proves that Caillou's words are correct. But Caillou didn't finish. Not only that, he also developed the Yong'an anti-gravity fighter. The news dropped like a bomb into the crowd. The top talents in all the military regions present were all stunned. That perverted anti-gravity fighter was also researched by him. If one of these 3 technologies is randomly assigned to them, another academician will be produced. I didn't expect that it was developed by the same person. It is really more popular than others, and it is even more incomparable with Yibai. Lu Cheng clenched his fists. He guessed right. It was developed by Yibai. Okay, let academician Yi tell you about this project. Caillou gestured to Yibai. Yibai nodded and said, let me just point it out. This project is to build an aerospace carrier, so the shipbuilding and aircraft talents from various military regions are concentrated here. When everyone heard this, they were a little numb. Helicarrier, such a sci-fi thing, they have only seen it in movies and anime. To make a behemoth fly into the sky, it is not just a matter of adding a few more engines, and it is not even the same as a space capsule. The design of the space carrier is to allow the aircraft carrier to stay for a long time, or even fly permanently in the sky. Otherwise, it doesn't make much sense. So it is impossible to let a guy with more than 100,000 tons fly in the sky all the time if fuel is used. Only nuclear power will do. Then there is the problem of the engine. The most powerful and latest engine of Ying Jiang, the XA100, has a thrust of 22 tons. 100,000 tons requires at least 4,500 engines. It is also necessary to park the plane on it, and the obstacles brought by the high-altitude wind will not be enough. Therefore, it is impossible to complete it with current technology, and it is not cost-effective without an aircraft carrier. Even though Yibai has developed 3 powerful technological equipment, the difficulty of the helicarrier completely exceeds the previous 3 equipment. It's no wonder that the shipbuilders and airplane builders are brought together. It turns out that they want to build a ship that can fly in the sky. Although this academician Yi is indeed very powerful, but if he wants to build an aerospace carrier, will he be too eager to make progress? With the current Earth technology, it is impossible to do it. This project has been implemented by the military region. I don't know, Sisterly. That's right, I thought it was a particularly good project, and I didn't know if it could be developed before I died. Why? Since we are here, let's do it freely. Academician Yi can make the military region approve the project. There must be a research and development direction and possibility. Caillou motioned to be quiet. I know everyone is confused, even doubtful. Let's listen to academician Yi first. Yibai heard everyone's discussion, and he continued, because the space carrier construction project is too huge. If I am alone, it will take too long. so I need everyone's help. Don't worry about technical issues. Your job is actually very simple. That is, to assist the shipyard to build each module component according to the information I gave. I will come to complete the core components of the city. As long as we build all the modular components and then assemble them. I believe that everyone's abilities are fully capable. Let us complete the construction of the Wanfeng space carrier as quickly as possible. Wanfeng is the model that Yibai thought up in advance. Everyone didn't speak this time because they didn't understand what Yibai meant. Hello, Academician Yi. You said just now that we only need to cooperate with the shipyard to manufacture the corresponding components according to the information you provided, which means that you already have all the technical information of the Wanfeng Zhongwei mothership, right? Lu Cheng stared at Yibai closely and asked the doubts of everyone present. They noticed Yibai's words, but couldn't believe it. Engine problem solved? Energy problem solved? Wind, airflow, and other problems have been solved? Only Yi Rower didn't have any doubts. She kept looking at Yibai. Yibai nodded vigorously. That's right. Everyone's eyes widened immediately. Yibai broke their guess again. They originally thought that their mission was to gather all the strength of everyone to develop the space carrier together and overcome technical difficulties. But I didn't expect that Yibai already had all the technical information. They just need to understand the information and direct the shipyard to manufacture the module components. To put it bluntly, they are tool people who came to help build warships. This is so perverted. They don't need to research, others have already researched it. People no longer know what to say. Reason tells them this is impossible. Of course, even if there are scientific and technical materials, it is very difficult to completely manufacture because many components are very complicated, so these talents are needed. No problem, we will do our best to assist Academician Yi to complete the construction of the Wanfeng space carrier. Lu Cheng's tone was firm. He could not bear the slightest bit of resentment towards Yi Baixing. Although he has been researching the 6th-generation aircraft for several years, Yi Bai's Ryonjian anti-gravity fighter directly made his project a reality. But Yi Bai's talent makes him admire. Everyone also expressed that they would try their best. Although they were still skeptical, they could only accept it for the time being. Yi Bai glanced at the crowd. He saw Yi Rower among them, as well as Lu Cheng and other familiar faces, but he didn't see that Mo Cheng. According to the different components of each module, we form a small team to study and supervise the construction of the shipyard. During this period, we will not be able to use any network. After Yi Bai finished speaking, he led the crowd and began to distribute the technical information of each module component. It took 3 days to distribute the materials alone. It wasn't until everyone got their own materials and the two started researching in groups that they believed what Yi Bai said was true. One by one, the technical parameters and theories were in front of them, and all the problems they thought of were perfectly solved. Yi Bai also manufactures the core parts himself. Everyone put in all their energy to study it. Get the information directly and learn faster. This is definitely a huge opportunity for improvement. Caillou directly stopped all the non-urgent projects in the shipyard and transferred all the manpower to Yi Bai. During these 3 days, the officers and soldiers of the Zijin military region also completed the construction of the outer wall. A circle of aluminum-coated iron plates surrounds the 300,000-ton shipyard, and there is also a canopy made of plastic sheeting to cover the 300,000-ton shipyard. Aluminum coating can isolate most of the electromagnetic signals. Lu Shogua dispatched a large number of manpower, and all staff worked in 24-hour shifts to complete the construction in a short time. Because of the big Nua Diheo action here, some walking 500,000 people were attracted, and the Yanlong Special Forces caught several people with problems on the periphery. The electronic troops have already started all-weather signal shielding before the talents of the military regions settled in. In the following days, a large number of supplies trucks will be brought in from outside. Arish or C. On the peanut-ton aircraft carrier, Michael frowned and looked at the report. What is Yan Wang doing again? The Jiangnan shipyard has been completely sealed off, and the satellite signal has also been interfered, making it impossible to see the internal situation. Jones shook his head. I don't know. The Yongan anti-gravity fighter has not appeared since its debut on the National Day, and our satellite has not been found yet, as if it disappeared out of thin air. Michael felt that something was wrong. Things seemed to be very wrong. Let the Secret Service work quickly. Fuck, what are these guys who eat nothing, and those guys in the Black House are doing? Jones said helplessly, the informants arranged by our Secret Service have been arrested several times. Now Jiangnan shipyard is completely impossible to approach, let alone infiltrate. The Black Palace asked us to go around twice just now, and to hold a joint exercise with the Neon Kingdom, just to target Yan Wang's recent actions. Michael snorted coldly. Then practice. We must make them stop their dangerous actions. The top talents of the 5 military regions are assigned to different areas and are responsible for the development of different modules. The entire Jiangnan shipyard is operating in an orderly and fast manner. Engineers also stationed in along with the personnel carrier. The construction work really begins. Yibai is still in an independent factory building, and what he develops is the most difficult part of the core, which can be easily manufactured with the help of Luban. In the 300,000-ton dock, the hull of the huge Wanfeng aerospace carrier is also under construction. Time flies, and soon a month will pass. On this day, at the gate of the Jiandao construction plant, a humanoid figure wearing a sci-fi armor suddenly appeared. I saw that his whole body was covered by black metal armor, full of mechanical beauty. The armor was slender and exquisite, just like a black warrior. The armored head is like a motorcycle helmet, and the eyes are an integrated golden honeycomb vision mask. His hands hold a giant mechanism that reminds him that he is more than twice as big. Such a sci-fi guy suddenly appeared. If Yibai was not by his side, everyone would definitely call the guards. Caillou stepped forward with a look of surprise and asked, what is this? Exoskeleton armor. 543, Yibai said with a smile. This is a set of military single-body armor that I built while making the core components of Wanfeng. Everyone looked as if they had seen a ghost. They devoted themselves to the production and could barely keep up with the progress. This is still under the premise of technical information. Yibai manufactures the core components by himself and even has spare time to create a set of military single-piece armor. Individual exoskeleton armor has been researched by many countries in the world, and Ying Jiang has the best performance. This set looks more advanced. The crowd gathered around and stroked the armor worn by the soldiers. They found a lot of technology on the armor that they hadn't seen before. This is a set of full-coverage armor, not a simple reinforced exoskeleton box. Where the metal armor is connected, it is a fiber material similar to artificial muscle, and the outside is covered with a layer of armor. This not only ensures the defense, but also has strong flexibility. It's just that they have never seen the artificial muscle fibers vaguely seen. Another set of high-tech equipment. If this suit of armor can equip the entire army, it will be a future soldier. Electromagnetic sniper rifles, smart rifles, Ryongian anti-gravity fighters, and the Wanfeng space carrier under construction and the current Dark Dragon armor. Yibai's technology tree seems to be higher than the current technology tree of the Earth. This suit of armor is not a project we are currently researching. After the space carrier is built, you can study this suit of armor. Yibai asked the soldiers to put the mechanical device in the factory building. This is the energy shield device on Wanfeng. This is a device that solves the problem of facing air currents and strong winds when the space carrier is at high altitude and can form a good protection against attacks. Caillou nodded and asked someone to transport the energy shield device to the core component area. Yibai continued, "You contact Chief Lu to receive the set of Dark Dragon armor. I have put the technical information and instructions in the armor database." Caillou quickly responded, "No problem." After Yibai finished speaking, he returned to his factory area. The core module components he was responsible for were small in size, but in large quantities. After seeing Yibai leave, Caillou sighed. It's really terrifying to build an energy shield device and a set of military single-body armor in 1 month. People around also nodded in agreement. Yeah, We haven't manufactured a component yet, and we are still studying the information he gave. This space carrier is so powerful that it even has an energy shield. More than that, the stealth module we are in charge of is also very powerful. From the data point of view, it can really achieve mimic stealth, truly invisible from the naked eye. It's all technology that can only be imagined, and it's all realized now. I don't know what modules other groups are responsible for, so I must ask when I go back to eat. In the afternoon, Lu Shogwa brought people to receive the Dark Dragon armor in a hurry. He didn't expect Yubai to have this idea. Knowing that Yubai was busy, Lu Shogwa didn't look for him, so Lu Shogwa returned to the Zijin military region with the Dark Dragon armor. Look, everyone, what is this? Lu Shogwa couldn't wait to make an appointment with several heads, opened the online meeting. Yiming took a closer look, frowned, and said uncertainly, "Exoskeleton armor? Did your Zijin military district develop it?" Bai Yan curled his lips and said disdainfully, "Impossible. The Changnan military region has been researching the exoskeleton armor, and they only make conventional equipment, so I guess Xiaoye must have made it." Jin Jianjun asked suspiciously, "Isn't Xiaoye working on a space carrier?" Lu Shogwa chuckled. "Why don't you say it's from my Zijin military region? Xiaoye also built the set of Dark Dragon armor for me in addition to building the Sky Mothership." Bai Yan gave him a blank look. Xiaoye is from the Academy of Dragon Sciences, not from your Zijin military region. Hey, let me ask someone to stop the exoskeleton armor project now. They have now fully believed in Yibai's scientific research ability. As long as it is created, it must be something beyond the current level of earth science and technology. Lu Shogwa said cunningly, "Everyone is transferred to me, and the things are here. Come here to study together, and I will draw some resources." Bai Yan said with great reluctance, "Finally the fox's tail is exposed. I understand. I will let them go there today. By the way, you have to ensure the supply of resources on Xiaoye's side first." Lu Shogwa nodded. "Don't worry, my rights guarantee Xiaoye's every request, and his side is the highest priority." Yiming said leisurely, "Hey, I still have Long Giant's anti-gravity drone to research, and I'm very busy. I didn't expect that this version is not a complete one. According to Xiaoye's information, the complete Long-On is too scary." Listening to Lu Shogwa and Yiming's Versailles, the other three commanders didn't speak, thinking about how to let Yibai go to their side for a while. "Anyway, you can do scientific research anywhere, and you don't have to go back to the Dragon Academy of Sciences." Lu Shogwa hung up the meeting and looked at the Dark Dragon armor in front of him. Now his army unit, the Yanlong Special Forces, were all equipped with YBD-01 sniper rifles and YBZ-10 smart rifles, and now they added this suit of armor. Definitely can become the strongest special forces in the world. A week later, Jiang Chen entered the Jiangnan shipyard after going through a lot of scrutiny. "We have mastered the controllable nuclear fusion technology." For more than a month, Zhou Ping and others worked day and night in the laboratory to analyze and study the materials given by Yibai, and finally mastered all the techniques. It is already possible to organize and build by itself. Yibai also said happily, "That's just right, you come here and take charge of leading people to manufacture controllable nuclear fusion energy device." Jiang Chen came with a smile on his face. He was taken as a young man by Ebola in a daze. Of course, he was the person Yibai asked Zhou Ping to come here. The people around them were surprised when they heard their conversation. Controlled nuclear fusion. This is much stronger than nuclear fission, and the energy produced is so huge that it can be called an artificial sun. Nuclear fusion, unlike nuclear fission, is not made of such high radiation materials. Nuclear fusion uses deuterium, a clean energy source without radiation. And it only takes a little bit to generate a huge amount of energy. Most importantly, the storage of gas on the Earth is extremely rich, and there are hundreds of millions of tons of deuterium in seawater. As long as you get some seawater, you can extract enough deuterium to provide raw materials for nuclear fusion. Controllable nuclear fusion also represents the key for human beings to start interstellar travel. It is hard to imagine that the Dragon Science Academy has mastered this key. Everyone feels that they are witnessing a new era. With the anti-gravity engine technology and the controllable nuclear fusion energy device, the power module unit of the Wanfeng aerospace carrier is solved. Liu Shogua urgently deployed some nuclear energy talents to cooperate with Jiang in manufacturing nuclear fusion energy devices. After mastering the controllable nuclear fusion technology, the Dragon Academy of Sciences immediately took it out to replace the current nuclear fission power station and thermal power station. A controllable nuclear fusion power plant can provide energy for an entire city. The cost of electricity can be greatly reduced, and there is no need to worry about electricity bills when using air conditioners in winter and summer, and it will not pollute the environment. The whole country began to build and erect circuits. On the same day, the news that Yanwang Kingdom successfully mastered the technology of controllable nuclear fusion made it onto the news of all countries in the world. Eagle Sauce Trump immediately released a press conference. We are concerned that Yanwang Kingdom announced that they have mastered controllable nuclear fusion technology. This is a very remarkable technology. It is a clean energy source and an important breakthrough in improving the environment of Blue Star. I think this is a technology that benefits mankind. Yanwang Kingdom should cooperate with it. The world shares, so that we can protect our common home, Blue Star. After Trump's press conference, Neon Country and Bangzi Country followed up. Ask Yanwang Kingdom to disclose its technology. ASEAN, however, has a lot of backbone and directly issued an announcement. We expect to complete the research on controllable nuclear fusion technology in 2025. We will not beg for technology from Yanwang Kingdom, and we are willing to share our technology with partners around the world. Regarding the big powers headed by Ying Jiang, the spokesperson of Yanwang Kingdom directly responded, I hope that you can disclose your respective technologies and not block Yanwang. Please put away the face of your great powers. All our actions are only to protect the rights and security of Yanwang Kingdom itself. Arish or C. Oh my car, the Yanwang Kingdom has actually controlled the controllable nuclear fusion technology. Oh my car, it's unbelievable. 11. Michael received a message that they were sailing near Bend Island again. And the Black Palace stated that Trump would visit Bend Island and threatened to teach Yanwang Kingdom a lesson. At the same time, a rebellion occurred in Nefaso, a small country in Heizhou, and the rebel army attacked the embassy of Yanwang Kingdom. Damn it, Ying Jiang must have made a mess again. Liu Shogua slapped the table angrily. Needless to say, this was a combination of Ying Jiang's punches, wanting Yanwang to announce the controllable nuclear fusion technology. It is also its usual trick. Yi Mingqi raised his brows. The faces of these guys are still ugly. Bai Yan's eyes were full of coldness. As long as Xiao Bai's Wanfeng Sky mothership is completed, we will officially deploy the Longyuan anti-gravity fighter. I see how long they can jump. The world is still dominated by strength. As long as Yi Bai continues to study, Yanwang will definitely make any country no longer dare to bully. Liu Shogua nodded and asked, how's the news from Nefaso? Wang Kameng's face was solemn. The embassy can't be contacted now. The rebels have taken control of the capital Adugu, and the flames of war have spread rapidly throughout Nefaso. Liu Shogua frowned. Evacuate the overseas Chinese immediately. Wang Kameng said, the Beiyang military region has sent 2052D destroyers to evacuate overseas Chinese, but the overseas Chinese in the capital Wadaga cannot be evacuated because it is blocked. Yiming nodded and said, we have sent warships there, and we also have peacekeeping troops over there. The embassy should not be taken down so quickly. Asking for flowers. Jin Jianjun said angrily, I'm afraid that Ying Jiang will stab them in the back. They are in the dark, we are in the open, and we still can't get in touch with them. You immediately lead a team of Yanlong special forces to the capital Wadagu to rescue people from the embassy, and at the same time protect the evacuation of overseas Chinese in the capital. Liu Shogua gave Wang Kameng an order. Wang Kameng immediately stood up. Yes. Liu Shogua thought about it and said, You take that set of dark dragon armor and enter Wadagu, and other people are outside to meet you. Everyone uses YBD01 and YBZ10. Be sure to protect the angels and overseas Chinese. During this week, they have learned about the performance of the dark dragon armor. Wang Kemeng personally tested it, and the performance is extremely powerful. I am very confident in this dive to rescue individual soldiers. Wang Kemeng gave a military salute. I promise to complete the task. 0. I will let Ryonjin lift off, hover over Wadagu, and provide a certain amount of firepower to protect you. Yi Minji immediately asked someone to activate the Longyuan anti-gravity fighter. The Yongwon anti-gravity fighter that turned on the stealth mode came to the sky above Wadagu, the capital of Nefeso, at 10 times the speed of sound. Although Longyuan is not yet equipped with a controllable nuclear fusion energy device, it can hover in the air for many days with full fuel. If Wang Kemeng and others are in danger, Longyuan can provide fire support immediately. In stealth mode, although fighter jets are still visible to the naked eye, they cannot be scanned by radar. Nefeso is just a small country, but Yonjian's radar and firepower can cover their entire country. Lu Shogua waved his hand and said, "Go." Wang Kemeng went to prepare immediately after hearing the words. At night, a transport plane took off from the Zijin military region to Wadagu, the capital of Nefeso. The Washington aircraft carrier battle group on the Lanhai Sea received the situation and immediately responded to Haidu. Yanwang Kingdom couldn't sit still and sent warships and people to rescue people one after another. Michael looked in the direction of Yanwang Kingdom. Their fleet has been here for almost half a year, and they are always monitoring every move of Yanwang Kingdom. Jones nodded and said, "The current domestic situation in Nefeso is very complicated. Their warships are fine, but the troops on the transport plane should be infiltrated troops. I'm afraid they will never return." "Shut up, dear Jones, we don't know anything. The soldiers from Yanwang Kingdom will definitely return safely. Ambassador Hua, we can't stand it for too long." Guanyen, the captain of the peacekeeping force who fought all night, looked angrily at the rampant rebels outside the wall. Yesterday, many places in Nefeso suddenly launched mutinies, and the capital was directly controlled by the rebels. The presidential palace was directly occupied. What's important is that Guanyen saw many familiar weapons in the hands of the rebels, the conspicuous M16, all of which are Ying Jiang strays. Although our communications have been cut off, I believe the country must have sent someone over. Hu Qinian was in the yard, surrounded by many refugees and even government troops. All of them were panic-stricken. The government army is even more with the refugees, with guns in their hands, but they dare not fight. "Ambassador Hua, go in quickly, it's too dangerous outside." Guanyen kept shooting outside to suppress the opponent. After a night of fighting, they were exhausted. "I want government troops to take over, but they have no combat effectiveness at all. Even if you pull it up, you don't dare to shoot, it's useless at all. Many of their brothers have been injured, and they are almost out of bullets." Hu Qinian glanced at the refugees in the embassy, and there was no place for them. Hu Qinian shook his head. "It's okay, I'm right here, be careful." At this time, the embassies of other countries have already closed their doors, or ran to the 740. Only the Yanwang embassy will receive refugees and provide asylum. At this time, Guanyen saw 2 pickup trucks coming outside, each with a Gatling on it. Outside, the rebels were talking to the guy who had just arrived to drive the pickup truck. Suddenly, Guanyen's pupils dilated, yelling, "Look for cover, there is an RPG." I saw 2 rebels carrying RPG rockets and launching them directly. With 2 sounds of "and." 2 rockets bombed towards the defensive point on the wall of the Yanwang embassy. As soon as Guanyen and others took refuge, they heard 2 explosions. All of a sudden, the sky was filled with dust and gravel flew randomly. There was also a cry of pain. "Captain, I can't feel my hand. My leg is broken. Chao Nima, I will fight." "I'm going to fight too, brother, to break my parents." "Baba." Guanyan crawled out of the mud in disgrace and just spit out the mud in his mouth. When he saw his companions shooting at the rebels with guns, he quickly shouted, "Calm down, don't stand up." But soon there was a violent gunshot, and a bullet took the soldier's life away. Seeing the sacrifice of his companions, Guanenhin's eyes turned red, and he warned loudly, "Everyone, calm down, protect yourself for those who are injured, and don't be impulsive." Guanyan yelled at the embassy again, "Tell those government troops, if the special ones don't want to die, come and defend me, and help carry the wounded down. Hurry up!" There are more than a dozen government troops from Nefeso, but none of them are there. The interpreter immediately yelled at the government troops, but they didn't listen. At this time, Gatlin on the pickup truck outside began to turn slowly. Immediately. Da-da-da. The sound of dense bullets sounded. The wall of the embassy was instantly punched with bullet holes. Guanyan quickly came down from the defense platform on the fence, pointed a gun at the head of the Nefeso government army. "Go up to me, or I will kill you now. It's a pity that my brother was injured and sacrificed for this kind of person. He obviously has weapons but doesn't fight, and he's not a refugee, but he's still squatting here in fear. What kind of soldier is he?" The government soldiers were so frightened that they stood up reluctantly, and Guanyan took them to the wall, and the refugees helped carry the wounded on their own. "The ones below you must be on guard. Whenever anyone approaches, hit them. Otherwise, hide. Don't sacrifice in vain." There are also peacekeepers behind the wall. Fortunately, the wall here is strong enough, and the 2 rockets only blew up one piece. The gate is cast steel and is very difficult to break. But if this continues, it will be broken sooner or later. The rebels outside began to press forward under the cover of a rain of 2 Gatling bullets. Guanyan and others were under heavy firepower and couldn't raise their heads to fight back. They can only look for opportunities and shoot back in the gaps. But the hit rate is impressive, only occasionally hitting a rebel. The situation has become more and more critical. "Ambassador Hua, if this continues, we may not be able to last tonight." Wang Kameng came to Nefeso with the 10th team of Yanlong Special Forces. They did not directly parachute to the capital Wadagu. Instead, it was airborne on a farmland outside Wadagu. Because Yanjian discovered in the sky that there are some anti-aircraft guns in Wadagu, and drones and more. Obviously, it was prepared for them. It is impossible for such a small and backward country to own these equipments. So Long Yuan found a safe place for them to land. Everyone quickly took off the parachute and prepared the airborne army. According to the plan, you're looking for more vehicles outside the city to connect with the troops landing from the coast. Wang Kameng issued a mission. According to the plan, he first went to the city to rescue the trapped people in the embassy, sent him to the 10th team of Gusong Meng outside the city to assemble, and then went in to search and rescue overseas Chinese in other places. Song Meng and others waited outside the city for the rescue troops who landed from the sea and brought the rescued people back to the 052D destroyer parked on the coastline. Song Meng nodded and said, "Boss, be careful." Wang Kameng smiled. "During this week's test, don't you know the abnormality of the suit of armor made by Bai?" Song Meng and the others laughed in relief when they heard the words. Indeed, with the Dark Dragon armor and 2 new rifles, there is no problem in sneaking into the rescue alone. "Okay, then let's go first." Song Meng drove the military vehicle that came down from the air and led the team members to quickly approach Wadagu. It doesn't matter who comes first. Wang Kameng was wearing the Dark Dragon armor, his body was slightly lowered, and then he rushed out. Artificial muscle fibers inside the armor provide powerful explosive power. Wang Kameng was like a cheetah, running wildly across the fields, and the speed was not slower than Song Meng and others driving at all. "I'm stupid. This is 2F*** King Fierce." Tang Lei stared blankly at Wang Kameng, who was running away. Their car has already driven to 100 yards. Even Wang Ko also overtook them. After all, he is a human being, and he can run faster than a car. It's not that I haven't seen it before, it's rare and strange. Song Meng pouted. They had been testing this suit of armor for a week. According to the information and operation manual given by Luban, its top speed is 200 kilometers per hour. Wang Kameng quickly came to Wadagu and hid behind an empty house. At this time, the city was full of rebels. There are 2 mounting points on the back of the Dark Dragon armor. At this time, the bullet box is mounted on the left side, and the magazine can be taken out at any time, and the YBD-01 electromagnetic sniper rifle is mounted on the right side, holding a YBZ-10 smart assault rifle in his hand. From Wang Kameng's perspective, the cellular vision network system quickly locked onto rebel targets in the distance and marked their distance and weapons in hand. There are even detailed information such as the degree of danger. At the same time, there is an overall reduced version map in the upper right corner, which also marks the location of the enemy and the embassy. This is the result of scanning with the radar of the high-altitude Yong'an anti-gravity fighter. The equipment developed by Luban can all be connected to the internet. At this time, there are 10 red dots closest to Wang Kameng, that is, 10 enemies, all armed with AKs without wearing any body armor. Dark Dragon armor gives a hazard rating of 0. Dark Dragon 1 marked the closest route to the embassy. Wang Kameng issued an order. As the prototype of the Dark Dragon armor, Luban named his intelligent system Dark Dragon Number 1. Route marked. A green route immediately appeared in Wang Kameng's vision, guiding the streets of Wadagu. He took the smart assault rifle and then rushed out from behind the house in an instant. The rebels immediately found this strange humanoid monster and quickly roared loudly with their guns. But what greeted them were bullets that looked like they had eyes. In their horrified, astonished eyes, 10 bullets took away 10 rebels in an instant, and even the rebels hiding behind the wall were hit between the eyebrows by the rounded bullets. This is also due to the radar lock of the Yong'an anti-gravity fighter. The Dark Dragon armor combined with the multi-radar scanning of the Yong'an anti-gravity fighter can lock you even in the room. Unless you hide in a place that can shield the radar, otherwise you will die. With the auxiliary locking of the Dark Dragon armor and the Yong'an anti-gravity fighter, the YBZ-10 smart assault rifle is also more efficient to harvest. Wang Kameng quickly ran towards the embassy along the route marked by the Dark Dragon armor. Be careful. RPG is coming again. Guanyin yelled and told everyone to take cover. Following the 2 explosions, several more people were injured, among which the government soldiers cried the loudest. Help! God, I'm going to die. I don't want to die. Help me, come quickly, my God. The cries made people feel irritable, and some even had minor injuries, and they were shouting for help. The refugees quickly carried down the crying government troops. At this time, another modified off-road vehicle came, and the front was reinforced with steel. I saw the off-road vehicle slam on the accelerator and then rush towards the heavy gate of the embassy. 4.3. Although the gate is made of steel plate, it is very strong, but the place where it is anchored cannot withstand such an impact. Shoot, quick! Guanyin immediately ordered someone to attack the off-road vehicle. But the rebels didn't give them a chance at all. Gatlings spit out the tongue of fire again, and the violent bullets suppressed them. What the hell? How do you fight? How can these people cooperate like this? It was obviously a group of rebels, but they cooperated very well. Boom, 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 with the roar of the engine and the violent impact. Everyone's hearts tightened little by little. The gates and wall anchorages have been knocked open. Even the steel plates were dented. What the hell? I can't stand it anymore. Guanyin looked at the gate below angrily. Everyone find cover and prepare to meet the enemy. Hui Qinian looked at the door nervously, and he stretched out his hands to protect the colleagues and refugees behind him. I'm here. With another loud bang, the gate was knocked down, and the heavy gate kicked up a large cloud of dust, covering everyone's sight. All they heard was wild cheers from the rebels as they rushed towards the embassy. At this time, a series of screams suddenly sounded from the rear of the rebels. There was even a flare. F***K, what the hell is that? Why can you get it from behind a car, fuck? Hidden. A man in black armor suddenly appeared behind the rebels. The tall and dark armor was full of mechanical oppression. Holding a rifle with an exaggerated shape that is also full of scientific and technological beauty, he shoots directly without aiming. Their people are like straw, being harvested crazily. Some people even saw their companions hiding behind the car being taken away by a strange bullet. The bullets can still bend, and the guns are all headed, just like opening the lock and plugging it in. The leader of the rebel army looked at all this in horror. He saw the man in black armor walking towards them step by step like a god of death. Every time the gun in his hand is fired, one of his men will be taken away. As soon as the bullet is finished, the clip will automatically fall, and a clip pops out from the ammunition bag on the back in an instant, and you can take it and press it. The whole movement is smooth and flowing without a single pause. "Call me, call me." When the leader saw the other party changing bullets, he immediately yelled. There were more than 200 rebels outside the embassy, and all of them turned their guns back at this time. The bullet shoots out instantly. More than 200 rifles fired at the same time, and the bullets poured down desperately. Clang, clang, clang. It hit the black armor with intensive impact sounds, and countless sparks popped out. But nothing can stop him. Can't even leave a mark. After the leader saw that he had changed the bullets, he quickly hid behind the car. Suddenly, he felt a slight pain between his eyebrows, his pupils dilated instantly, and he stared blankly ahead, leaning against the car and slowly slumped to the ground. 22. He obviously hid. Why was he still hit? The bullets ran out again, and the number of more than 200 people dropped sharply to only more than 100 people. F***K, I'm going to crush you. Taking advantage of the gap between the opponent's bullets, a rebel controlled Gatling to shoot wildly. Gatling spat out a fierce fire snake, and countless bullets hit the black armor, but there was still no response. This is a powerful 7.65 bullet, but it still can't shake the black armor at all. Couldn't even stop him in his tracks. In the next second, the space between his eyebrows was hit by Dongchen. After another round of bullets was fired, the black armor was like an emotionless machine, frantically harvesting the lives of the rebels. Death, god of death, this is the god of black death. You can't fight it at all. Fuck, I want to go home. This can't be played. I was wrong. Help, I won't fight anymore. God help me. Seeing the invincibility of the black armor, the rebels completely lost the idea of resisting and threw down their weapons and wanted to escape. At this time, there was a sound of a rocket flew towards the black armor. There was a loud explosion of boom. The black armor was instantly swallowed by flames. The rebels looked at the flame nervously as if grasping at straws. Then another rocket blasted past, and the flame explosion became more violent. The rebels beamed. This time I must die. Ha ha ha. The smiles were frozen forever, and bullets passed through the flames and took their lives. They only saw the black armor coming out of the flames unscathed. Their eyes were stabbed deeply by the redness on the chest of the armor. Yen Wang, the black god of death from Yen Wang, escape. Run away, I can't beat it. The rebels were completely disintegrated and fled in all directions. Even RPG can resist. How can they fight? They have never seen this kind of thing. The shape is so sci-fi, like a soldier from the future. And they can harvest their lives so easily. Another storm of bullets blew up, and the rebels using Gatling and carrying RPGs were the first to be killed. Someone who wants to pick up the RPG again or use Gatling to resist will be hit by a bullet in no time. The rebels were frantically harvested while fleeing in haste. The rebels driving an off-road vehicle into the embassy were shot and killed by Guanyin and others. The peacekeeping troops all hid behind bunkers, ready to meet the enemy. But after waiting for a while, I found that no one rushed in, but heard the howling of the rebels outside. Everyone didn't know what was going on, and after waiting for a while, Guanyin and Huachinian looked at each other. Guanyin's short body with firm eyes quickly climbed up the wall and carefully poked his head out to look at the situation outside. Just in time to see the image of the black armor coming out of the flames of the explosion. Damn it, it's done. The whole body is covered with black humanoid armor, a golden honeycomb vision mask, and a sci-fi weapon in his hand. Behind him is a gun with a slender body and the same avant-garde shape and a black mechanical box. So handsome! Guanyan keenly saw the national flag on his chest. He hurriedly turned around and said to Huachinian in surprise, "Ambassador Hua, here we come. The team from our motherland is here." Although he didn't know who the other party was, the red on his chest was unmistakable. Huachinian was overjoyed and said, "That's great, I knew I would definitely come. There was a mutiny yesterday, and today we are waiting for the support of the motherland. This speed can only be achieved by Yan Wang." Guanyan looked at the handsome armor in surprise, like a black god of war. Fighting against the rebels alone is completely crushing. The rebels were powerless to fight back. "Quick, go to the fence and help." He quickly directed his companions to help. The remaining members of the peacekeeping force hurried up to the fence, preparing to attack back and forth. When they ran to the fence, they were all shocked by the black armor. What is that? Exoskeleton armor? It's still a mecha for individual soldiers. Maid, it's too perverted to chase more than 100 rebels alone. Whatever, it's our own people anyway. Hurry up and fight. What the hell? We fought all night. This group of rebels is too hateful, and now it's time to vent their anger. Gunshots rang out after a while. As Wen Kameng stopped attacking, the YBZ-10 muzzle was emitting slight heat. The entire ground outside the embassy was full of rebel corpses. The most terrifying thing is that there is not a single bullet hole in the vehicle. No misses. The danger is all removed. In Wang Kameng's field of vision, all the red marks disappeared. In the battle just now, Wang Kameng discovered that the dark dragon armor intelligently recognizes the danger level of the enemy, and through locking, it gives priority to destroying high-risk targets. Therefore, the rebels holding Gatling and RPG will be defeated immediately. Wang Kameng, captain of the Yanlong Special Forces of the Zijin military region, came to rescue everyone in the embassy. Wang Kameng raised one hand and shouted at Guijun on the wall, "The danger has been lifted." Guanyan stood up happily when he heard the words and waved to Wang Kameng, "Thank you so much, you came so timely." They almost gave up hope. When the rebels broke through the gate, the first thought in his mind was that it was over. But now Wang Kameng's appearance is like a savior. Wang Kameng walked to the gate of the embassy and saw an off-road vehicle blocking the gate. Then one hand dragged the chassis of the off-road vehicle from behind, and the artificial muscle fibers of the dark dragon armor were all tightened in an instant, and suddenly a huge force lifted the off-road vehicle up. Wang Kameng dragged the off-road vehicle out like this, and then walked into the courtyard. When his figure appeared in front of everyone, including Huachinian, widened their eyes, looking at the handsome sci-fi humanoid armor in front of them in astonishment. My God, this must be the messenger sent by the Holy Spirit. Nefeso's government troops all knelt on the ground, looking at Wang Kameng adoringly. At this time, the tall Wang Kameng is the god who saved them. Moved an off-road vehicle away with one hand. Huachinian was terrified. That car must have weighed 2 tons. The technology of the motherland has reached this level. Wang Kameng walked into the courtyard. Everyone, please leave with me first. Huachinian glanced behind him and asked curiously, "Are you alone?" Wang Kameng nodded. "That's right, my team members will respond outside the city, and I will be responsible for protecting you from the city. The car outside is still usable, you just take the car and follow me." After hearing this, Huachinian was even more shocked. Originally, he thought that the armor was so powerful that there should be many people who came to save them, but he didn't expect that there was only one person. In other words, this one person wiped out all the rebels outside. Horrible. Although it sounds a little unsafe for him to lead everyone to evacuate by himself now, after all, Wang Kameng solved the rebels outside by himself, and his combat effectiveness is beyond doubt. Hurry up, get the wounded into the car first. Women, children, old and weak get into the car first. Huachinian quickly directed everyone to evacuate in an orderly manner. Guanyin came outside with the peacekeeping force. Several of you are stationed at the entrance of the alley to observe, and the others have all their cars ready. 943. Everyone received the order and carried it out immediately. The rebels left behind 2 pickup trucks, 5 battered sedans, and an SUV. Guanyin moved the car, and the refugees began to board the car, and the wounded were carried on the car first. In order to increase the space of each car, Wang Kemang directly removed all the rear seats. Such a huge force once again provoked the refugees in Nefeso to be astonished. There are more than 50 people in the 8 cars, which are already very crowded. What would you do? Guanyin looked at Wang Kemang, and there was no room in the car. Wang Kemang smiled and said, "I used to run." After finishing speaking, he took the lead and ran. Follow up. He didn't use full speed and had to take care of the team behind him. Huachinian and the others looked at Wang Kemang, who was running faster than the car, in disbelief. It's hard to imagine how much this set of armor has improved the single-player combat capability. Refugees in Nefeso still make prayer gestures. Longyuan number 1 marked the location of the 10th team. Wang Kemang contacted the high-altitude Yong'an anti-gravity fighter. Immediately a green marker appears on the minimap. Dark Dragon 1, find the shortest path. Route marked. Wang Kemang led the convoy along the route and rushed to the supporting team outside the city. He encountered rebels on the road, and he quickly resolved them all. Unimpeded all the way. Several rebels escaped in front of the embassy, and they returned to the presidential palace in horror, which was occupied by them. Now their leader is stationed there. General Zombie is bad. A rebel stumbled into the president's office, where a big black man with a wolfish appearance was playing with a blonde girl. Damn it, who made you rush in? Zombie glared at his men, but didn't stop. The rebels were crying, "It's gone, it's all gone. My God, all of our people are gone." Only then did Zombie stop and shouted in displeasure, "It's all gone. You better explain it to me today, or I'll cut you off." The rebels fell to their knees and shouted, "The black god of death from Yanwang, he killed us all, more than 200 people, all dead."
Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.